Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name's Joni Ogg, and on behalf of TravelProfessionalNews.com and HomeBasedTravelAgent.com and FindAHostTravelAgency.com, I would like to welcome all of you to today's webinar, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here with us. Now, today's topic is going to be really great. We're going to talk about the exclusive experiences with AmaWaterways. And our speaker today is Handa Westerdahl, the Senior Director of Sales at AmaWaterways. Now, Hannah joined AmaWaterways in 2017 as a river cruise and group sales specialist. And from there, she's joined the sales department, working closely with the business development managers and the national accounts team. And in her current position, she works every day in support of the trade community to find new ways to support travel advisors in growing their river cruise business with AmaWaterways. So do remember that you are all muted, but we do welcome your questions, and you can type those in the questions area that you see on the right-hand side of your screen at any time, and we'll get to those questions after Hannah's all done with the presentation. Now, AMA is generously offering an amazing prize today of a complimentary 2024 or 2025 AmaWaterways European River Cruise. I know that all of you join me in giving our thanks to them for this amazing, generous offer. And we will be awarding the prize at the end of the webinar to one random attendee who shares the correct answer to a question that's been provided by AMA during the presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the microphone over to Hannah so we can get started. Welcome, Hannah.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for that introduction, Joni. It's always a pleasure to join you and have this time with our travel partners. So thank you so much for having us. So I am very excited to spend the next hour together talking about our exclusive experiences, because I personally think it's something that we don't talk about enough, really. So very excited. Before I do that, I do want to remind you that we have some incredible handouts in the handout section of the webinar platform. So one of them is our Autumn and Winter Sailings Toolkit. We also have a promotional offer toolkit. That one, I have to say, is my personal favorite and most used toolkit that we have, so very, very handy. And then you also have a toolkit all about what we're talking about today, and that's our river cruise exclusive experiences, as well as our welcome toolkit. So if you are new to the great big world of river cruising, especially new to AmaWaterways, then that welcome toolkit is going to be especially helpful for you and where you're at right now. And then very helpful as well is our sales team flyer. We have had some additions to our sales team. So especially out on the East Coast, if you're out on the Eastern Seaboard, then please download that sales team flyer, as we have a new BDM for you there in the Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania area. So please download that sales team flyer. It's most important that you know our sales team. Joni did give me such a nice introduction, but yes, I am Hannah Westerdahl, Senior Director of Sales with AmaWaterways. My email, if you know my name and you know where I work, then you know my email, hannah@amawaterways.com, super simple. So if I say something during the course of this webinar that you need further clarification on, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll be happy to return any inquiries with you there. But I, as Joni said, have been a part of this great, wonderful story for 7 years. It has just absolutely flown by, and I've loved every second of it. It's such an incredible company. We really are one family, but the dream really started much further ago than those 7 years. We've been in operation for 22 years. So we were started by 3 families, Rudy Schreiner, Christine Karst, and Jimmy Murphy, who is now being survived by his son, Gary Murphy. And we started in July of 2002, And, you know, they have extensive experience, especially Rudy, in the world of river cruising, you know, having been at the forefront of it, especially with our competitors. And, you know, when he connected with Christine and Jimmy, the Murphy family, they realized that they could do this and do it in a way that would always put the guest first, in a way that would always put our partners first, and really create a product that they themselves would want to vacation on time and time again. That meant comfortable and elegant ships with spacious staterooms, fresh and beautifully prepared cuisine, excellent regional wines, and a variety of immersive daily excursions to allow guests to experience the destination in a special way, and most important, in a level of personal service and genuine care that would make everyone feel like a cherished member of our family. We have really been leading the way when it comes to river cruising, innovating year over year over year. And a lot of these innovations, you know, as incredibly smart as our owners are, a lot of these innovations are actually feedback, not something that they picked out of the sky, right? They're actually feedback that we get from you. They're feedback that we get from our mutual guests when they step on board. So we're always listening. We're always wanting to know, what can we do to make this experience better? Some of these things that we've done, we always say they're AMA first, but they're actually industry first. First, to have a complimentary fleet of bicycles on board our ships. First, with our sip and sail cocktail hour. First, to have Wi-Fi complimentary throughout the entire ship. So it's not just in the public staterooms. It is actually in the public spaces. It's actually in public spaces and in your private lounge or your private staterooms. We also have multiple shore excursions, as I said, every single day. So, you know, while our competitors often say, oh, you get a complimentary shore excursion a day, to our guests, especially coming from the ocean cruise side of things, that sounds so generous. But when you compare one preset city tour where you have these large tour groups because everyone's going on that same tour on the ship, versus a variety of included shore excursions, bike tours, hiking tours, wine tasting tours, you know, art installation experiences, those historic city tours. You know, you're breaking these groups up into small, intimate tour groups, and you're also adding that level of personalization. In this world that we all live in, we know luxury travel is more and more of what our clients are looking for, and a huge piece of defining what luxury is for your guests is going to be that they're going to want a personalized experience that can provide exactly what they're looking for. They're not looking for a cookie cutter experience. And so when you river cruise with AmaWaterways, that is exactly what you are getting. You're getting a personalized experience. Less people on board our ships. If you think about river cruise ships, most of them, you know, I would say 95% of them, they're the same exact size. They're the same length, the same width. So what you do with that space is so important. And what we do is we put an average of 20 less staterooms on board than our competition. That means we have less people on board. That means we have more amenities and more public spaces, as well as larger staterooms. So having, you know, the ability to have not only one restaurant on board our traditional twin balcony ships, but two. So you now have a specialty dining restaurant, our chef's table restaurant. We have a dedicated gym facility that is free to use on board all of our ships. We have a spa and a hair salon on board all of our ships, because again, we're not using that space in order to fit more people on board the ship. So it's little things like that. And I know we've done many webinars before with Travel Professional News, really talking about why AmaWaterways, and why, if you were focusing on river cruising, why focus on Ama over some of the other people out there. So I definitely encourage you to go back and watch some of those webinars. But if we talk about exclusive experiences with AmaWaterways, as well as our history of innovation, then the first thing that we really have to talk about is the Ama Magna. The Ama Magna is, you know, I said about 95% of the ships on the river are the same size. So the Ama Magna would be that 5%, where she truly is the world's most innovative river cruise ship, and you get the luxury of space with her. At twice the width of a traditional European river cruise ship, she is only accommodating 20 more staterooms than our traditional twin balcony ships. So you have 196 guests. Again, I want to repeat that. You have 196 guests on this ship, that it has twice the size of a standard ship, whereas our competitors have 192 people, so just 4 less people on a ship that's half the size. So again, you have that luxury of space, and it's That includes 4 dining venues and more leisure opportunities than ever before. The suites alone, the staterooms alone, are truly suite-sized staterooms. Over 50% of the AmaMagna staterooms are a suite or even larger. We even have an owner suite that's 710 square feet on this ship. We have an expansive sun deck that I'm can't wait a few slides to show you some incredible things that we've added to the AmaMagna on the sun deck. We have an herb garden, that chessboard, yes. We have an amazing spa on board. The AmaMagna, because she is bigger, she has not only 1 spa, but 2 spas, as well as the hair salon still, but we've now added a nail salon on board the AmaMagna, and these are all accessible via our Zen Wellness Studio, and that is right next to our fitness facility as well. But when it comes to that dining experience across all AmaWaterways vessels, we know it is so important, you know, and people truly do eat with their eyes first. You always see it, right? And people taking pictures and wanting to share what it is they're eating on their vacations with their friends and family back home. So on any of our ships, the culinary service, the quality of the food on board is unmatched on the rivers, but certainly it's special on the AmaMagna because we have those 4 restaurants. So yes, you have our main restaurant, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You also have our chef's table restaurant still, like our other vessels. Chef's table restaurant being an intimate venue, up to 36 guests can dine. And the diners actually get to watch as an expert chef prepare an exquisite 7-course tasting menu complemented by fine wines. So every single guest gets to enjoy this included experience at least once during the course of their week on board. Of course, if there's extra space one night and they loved it so much they want to do it again, we're not going to say no. We'll be more than happy to fit them in, but we do want to make sure everyone on board gets the opportunity to dine there at least once during the cruise. So with all of our ships, typically the chef's table is at the back of the vessel, so you have these incredible views. With the AmaMagna, the chef's table is actually back on the lower deck, but she is right next to my favorite restaurant on board, and that's Jimmy's. We have Jimmy's Wine Bar, really named in honor of the late Jimmy Murphy, one of our co-founders. If you're on the line listening in and you had the pleasure of meeting or even knowing Jimmy Murphy, then you know he was a family man. So when it came time to, and Rudy had this great vision of the AmaMagna, we knew we really wanted to do something special in his honor. He's from Ireland, so it has these beautiful warm colors throughout. It's really quite cozy, but what we do here is different. So we still serve the menu from the main dining room, but it's all served family style, which is so great. We do have families on board. Another reason why AmaWaterways is different is we do allow children on board and really encourage multi-generational travel. So it is such a fun experience if you do have a family on board or a group of friends coming on board. Maybe you're also hosting a Sail With Me group. Such a great opportunity to have just a fun, different experience for dinner at Jimmy's. And then we have the alfresco. The alfresco on the AmaMagna is actually at the front of the ship. You see her with her windows all there, so it's very inviting, very sort of this open air feeling, incredible views, especially as we're cruising. But she really is a restaurant that it's inspired by this farm to table style dining that has become so popular. So all of our food, of course, is fresh on board. We never have frozen fish. We always get fresh cheeses. We're baking our pastries fresh every single day. But the menu going off that farm to table inspiration, it's going to be more produce heavy items. Meat and fish will be served throughout the dinner, of course, but it's not going to be as heavy as it can be in our traditional restaurant or the chef's table restaurant. Across any of these restaurants and across our fleet, really, we are so accommodating of dietary restrictions. As someone that struggles with my own dietary restrictions, being allergic to wheat, I this is so important anywhere that I go, to make sure that what I'm eating and what the waiter is telling me is actually correct. So we really educate our service crew, our kitchen staff, to make sure that they are as accommodating as possible. But we rely on you to sort of help inform us. So as you are talking with your clients, if they mention that they do have some type of dietary restriction, and if they don't, please ask them that prior to their final payment, because we can add that to the profile. So that way the ship is already aware, okay, Mrs. Johnson, she can't have any shrimp because she is allergic, and no cashews. We can already do our due diligence to prepare the crew for that. Of course, we have some guests that come on board that still want to make sure they can actually talk with the chef, or maybe even pre-order their meals day over day because they are extra nervous. We are happy to do that. When they come on board, we can connect them with the hotel manager. And, just recently I was on board about 2 weeks ago. Every single day I would come down for breakfast. I would get the lunch and dinner menus for that day. That way I could just already pre-order what it is I'm looking for and looking forward to dining. But going back to the AmaMagna, one absolutely incredible thing that we have is the pickleball. Full-size regulation pickleball court made its debut on the AmaMagna last year. So she's been in use for a full season now. She is not over any staterooms, so we do not get those noise complaints, but we do get a lot of people on board that just have a love of pickleball. It is such a great fitness activity. It's such a great community building activity as well. So even if you have FIT travelers coming on board, if they play pickleball already, and even if they don't, honestly, they're probably going to end up taking advantage of this and making some new friends out there on the sun deck. The rules of use really are, if the sun is up and out, then they can use the pickleball court. So we don't have any restrictions as to when it can be used besides that. And it is a first come, first serve. Of course, we have a wellness host on board, which is another amazing AmaWaterways differentiator. They are there for our guests wherever they are on our wellness journey, and they can also be made available on the AmaMagna if your clients want to play with someone else. Then of course the wellness host can be that person, or if they want to learn how to play pickleball, the wellness host can be that person as well. But as we talk about the AmaMagna and all these exclusive experience, it's not only the ship itself that has these opportunities. We also have created a truly unique itinerary for her. That's our Magna on the Danube itinerary, cruising between Wilshofen, Germany and Budapest, where we have other ships on the Danube, but they're doing a completely different itinerary. And one of the things that we do that's special with our Magna on the Danube itinerary is stopping in Spitz, Austria. The AmaMagna is the only vessel that makes the stop in Spitz, and there is where Melk Abbey is. So Melk Abbey, of course, we visit from our other ships, but we don't dock in Spitz. So that is going to be one option that you have for your day out of Spitz. You also have a biking and a hiking option, but it's really the evening in Spitz that's so special. So after your delicious dinner on board at any of those 4 restaurants, we will walk off the ship, and it's about maybe a 5-minute walk off the ship, so very, very close to this wine hall. And what's actually really fun about it is about halfway on that 5-minute walk, we're going to be greeted by this band. So you see the band in the background of this picture, and they're just going to follow along with our guests singing and performing. And already you're not even at the winery yet. You're just surrounded by this jovial ambiance, and it just gets you in that mood. And so then we do a delicious wine tasting. Of course, you're in the Wachau Valley. So of course you have these incredible white wines, these Gruner Veltliners, Rieslings. They do have some reds as well, but it's the white wines that really shine here. And as we continue to talk about the Danube River, there are even more exclusive and special experience, and this goes beyond the AmaMagna. So any of our ships that embark or disembark out of Wilshofen, Germany, will have a true Oktoberfest celebration. Wilshofen is, it's a smaller town, and we're the only river cruise line that choose this as a point of embarkation and disembarkation. Many other lines will cruise past Wilshofen, Germany, but really Rudy, in his incredible experience, has decided that Wilshofen is the best place for us to start and end, primarily because, a question you're going to get a lot is about water levels, right? And we really are less impacted by the water levels than a lot of our competition. It's because it's how we design our itineraries. Wilshofen is a great example. While pretty much all of the river cruise lines cruise past us and cruise north deeper into Germany, we stop in Wilshofen because historically, if there is a point of concern due to water levels, it's going to be past Wilshofen. So we don't even include that in our itinerary. So while other river cruise lines are diverting people and figuring out different logistics, we are having an incredible Oktoberfest celebration in Wilshofen. Wilshofen is part of Bavaria. And if you think about Bavaria, the capital of Bavaria, Munich, then of course you think Oktoberfest. So whether you're going in February, we have cruises that start as early as February now on the Danube River, going over New Year's, joining us in the summer months. Every single embarkation will have this, and disembarkation will have this. I mean, this is always a highlight of guests, especially if it's at the start. It's just, you're starting with a bang here. And you see here the beer queen and the Papa band comes, and we do the competitions of holding the stein out. We'll have dancing. So it's just a night of camaraderie, really, just off the ship. It happens during the sip and sail hour, really, so just before dinner. And then moving from the Danube River, jumping to the Rhine, cruising between Amsterdam and Basel is sort of that typical river cruise experience that you see with the castles, glittering the hillsides as you're cruising down the river. That's going to be, a lot of first timers when they river cruise, they're thinking the Danube River or the Rhine for that sort of classic river cruise experience. So you can get that. You can get that cruising the Rhine or the Main and the Moselle. When you're cruising out of Basel with AmaWaterways on the Rhine River, you have this exclusive experience of visiting Lahnec Castle out of Lahnstein. And it really makes for a special day because your afternoon, you'll have been cruising the Rhine Gorge. And that's that classic image, like I said, you see 60 castles in the span of 3 hours, right from the sun deck of the ship or your private balcony from the ship. And the cruise manager is going to come on and tell you all about the different castles that you're seeing. We even give you a little map so you have something to take home and remember this experience by. And then after dinner, we're actually going to take you off the ship into a castle. We are not only the only river cruise line that visit this castle, the only tour operator that visits this castle. So it truly is an exclusive experience. And we have such a special relationship with them. I love getting to tour this because it brings everything to life that you've been seeing all day and all afternoon. But if you're going, especially if you're going, sort of fall, winter, or early spring when the days aren't as long anymore, the sun's going to set. And this castle, besides, I think 2 or 3 rooms in the castle, does not have electricity. So that means, especially if you're part of the first tour group, you're actually going to be lighting the torches and lighting the candles as you go through the castle. Again, really diving into what it would be like to live in something like this in a castle like Lahnec Castle. Throughout the tour, you're going to see so many different pieces of memorabilia, so many different treasures, really. I just remember falling in love with the fireplace there. And they're going to tell you all about the different pieces that you're seeing. There's so much lore surrounding this castle. You're going to learn about the Archbishop of Mainz, about the 12 Knights of Templar, and really so much more. Moving over to France, I really wanted to highlight our Taste of Bordeaux exclusive experience. There's a lot that we do in France. We only have an hour though for this webinar, so there's only so much we can talk about. But I wanted to highlight Bourg because, again, I think it just highlights the genius of our operations team and of Rudy when it comes to designing these itineraries. So Bourg is a town within the Bordeaux region that all of our friendly competitors visit. They visit, they offload people, and then they keep cruising. People have a great shore excursion and then they meet up with the ship in the next town over. But you know, when Rudy went here, he just fell in love. It's another little city like Vilshofen, and it's these small towns that people wouldn't go to if it weren't for river cruising that bring them back to this special way to travel, this special way to vacation. It's those little gems that they just fall in love with. So Bourg is one of those little gems in the Bordeaux cruise, our Taste of Bordeaux River cruise for us. And we've built, just like Vilshofen, such an incredible relationship with the town here that every single cruise that we do in Bordeaux, they put on a wine festival. And Bourg, you know, within France is a city that is known for its annual wine festival. So it's just building on those traditions that, like Oktoberfest, that already happen here, but doing it exclusively for our AmaWaterways guests. So the hospitality of this charming medieval village just really comes to life week over week. And we serve wines, of course, during this wine festival from the Côte de Bourg. Lots of delicious local snacks and food tastings being paired with those wines, but we have a lot of fun with it because we have live performances of traditional French music as well as some jazz music. So it just creates such a fun, lively atmosphere for our guests. Our next AmaWaterways exclusive is our soulful experiences. These experiences are, you know, we had started last year just with one sailing in France. That was our Colors of Provence river cruise, 7 nights between Arles and Lyon, partnered with and complemented with 3 nights in Paris for a Josephine Baker experience during that post-land or post-cruise extension. So year over year, we're going to continue to do our Colors of Provence cruise, but we've added to it. And every single destination that we're cruising that we're adding, we are changing our day-to-day excursions to really highlight Black history and celebrate the Black diaspora in the destination that we're in. So it is an amazing history and really cultural celebration for those that are coming on board. We do a lot of special things on the ship as well, from changing our menus, changing the sip and sail, you know, having additional games and a Juneteenth celebration on board, any of our soulful experiences, and much more. So every single one that we do, we had 3 earlier this year. We have a 4th in Portugal. We continue to, just like we've done and just like I explained over the last 22 years, continue to expand, continue to innovate, continue to improve. So the feedback from these cruises has been truly phenomenal. And really anyone is welcomed on board that is interested in learning more about the Black diaspora. So for this year, we have 1 more cruise left in Portugal. It's our Enticing Douro itinerary starting November 13th. And then next year, we have our Secrets of Egypt and the Nile on May 14th. Our Colors of Provence, again with the Josephine Baker experience in Paris on August 21st. Our Magic of Colombia on October 18th, and Enticing Douro again on November 14th. So pretty much 4, 1 per quarter about next year. Again, if you have clients interested in this is really, we are the only tour operators, I think, that are doing something like this. And we want to keep it going. We want to see this continue to grow year over year. So definitely keep this in mind. And then with all of our Egypt excursions, with all of our Egypt cruises on the Nile River, we have several exclusive experiences that we do. That includes what we're doing on Soulful, but any time that you cruise with us on the Nile, you will get these experiences as well. And one of them, I would say probably the most popular one, or the one that leaves people when they go back home, the one that they'll think of the most, is this Tomb of Nefertari private guided tour. The Tomb of Nefertari, you're going to learn all about Nefertari during your cruise with us, during your time in Egypt. So actually getting to go to her tomb is quite special. It is in the Valley of the Queens. So we do both the Valley of the Queens and the Valley of the Kings. And this is home to the mummified remains of the Valley of the Queens, excuse me, is home to the mummified remains of more than 30 queens and princesses, including, of course, Queen Nefertari. And this tomb is special, not only because that is where she is resting, but because it is the most well-preserved and ornate of all known tombs. You can see it from this picture alone. A quick Google search, you can see it too. Just the color still so vibrant. The detail that you see here are so impressive. The walls being painted with the deities, and you just learn so much, and you see so much detail that you don't necessarily see in the other tombs. So an amazing private experience. And then moving on, we do visit a Nubian village. Nubia, of course, home to the oldest civilization in the world. So it's quite an interesting day. You know, it's one of the beauties of travel. You get to see how different we all are as humankind, but all the similarities as well. So it's a special day for our guests when we're in Hessa. But one thing we do that's different, there are other lines that will go to Nubia, but one thing we do that's truly different is a shared dining experience with the locals. Of course, if your guests are not looking for that experience, then they can go back and have lunch on board the ship. But many, again, this is going to be a highlight of their time with AmaWaterways in Egypt, visiting these villages, breaking bread with the Nubian people. And our itinerary for Egypt, it is an 11-night cruise and land tour. So you have 3 nights in Cairo. Depending on the ship that you're on, that's either going to be at the St. Regis Hotel or the Four Seasons Hotel. So your oasis of calm in a very busy city of Cairo. So 3 nights Cairo, then you fly to Luxor, where you have the 7-night cruise on the Amadalia or the Amalilia. And then you have 1 night Cairo post-cruise. On that 1 night Cairo, when you fly back from Luxor, we will take you to the Abdeen Palace. The Abdeen Palace, we're going to get a private tour, but more important than that private tour, we get a private lunch experience. To get tickets to the presidential palace alone is very, very, very challenging. So to get tickets and be able to tour this incredible, ornate palace is special on its own, but now to have a private lunch served for our guests really is, I mean, you can't compare that experience with anything. So this palace, it was built in the 19th century, and it really is still considered one of the most luxurious palaces in the world. And there are several museums within its walls, but it is still one of the official residences and places of work for the President of Egypt. I'm sure he has many official residences and many official places of work, but this is his most beautiful, his most ornate, his most magnificent. So they will, of course, get a private tour followed by a very special lunch at this palace. And then you have 1 last night in Cairo before you fly home, or many of our guests will continue and stay and do a Dubai extension as well. We offer Jordan still. Jordan can be prior to your time in Egypt with AmaWaterways. Staying within the continent of Africa, you know, we really love talking about our safari and wildlife cruises on the Chobe River. So we cruise on the Zambezi Queen that you see here behind the elephants. Don't let the elephants distract you. And that is the Zambezi Queen. She is a 14 stateroom ship, 14 staterooms, 28 guests, so very intimate. She is the only ship that does not have a nautical schedule. She will follow the animals for your 4 nights on board, making it something so special. People saying, oh my gosh, I got woken up because I could hear the hippos playing in the evening. You know, that's the feedback I get of our guests and our travel partners that have been able to go on board the Zambezi Queen. But Africa truly provides some of the most prolific wildlife viewing for our guests. And you have these idyllic landscapes that have really inspired so many works of art throughout history. And what we do with this is you have your 4 nights on the Zambezi Queen for your river cruise and water safari adventure, but you pair that with the itinerary of your choice. So most of our itineraries within Africa will start in Cape Town, where you have 3 nights in Cape Town. You see iconic sites like Tabletop Mountain. Yes, you get to actually go up to Table Mountain. You get to walk the streets of Soweto, home of the revolutionary leader Nelson Mandela. You get to actually go to Robben's Island. And one thing that we do at Robben's Island, I mean, it's your guests will be speechless if they get to go, is we get a private tour, not with the guides of Robben Island, but actually with a former prison warden of Robben Island that was Nelson Mandela's warden. So Nelson Mandela was held at Robben's Island for 27 years. Through those 27 years, our tour guide got to know Nelson Mandela very intimately, and they became friends. So much so that later, when Nelson Mandela became president, he hired back his former prison warden to continue to work with him. You know, it became, I want to say something like the godfather of his son. So really these 2 individuals became very close. So to have him giving our guests a tour, telling them about Nelson's time there and President Mandela's time post his imprisonment really just brings the whole setting to life. Of course, you can go and visit the winelands there. We go to Cape of Good Hope. You get to see the penguins there. So the 3 days, to me, the 3 days Cape Town are an absolute must addition. And then, of course, we have Victoria Falls. We have time in Johannesburg. You have then the 4 nights on the Zambezi Queen. And from there, you can decide what you're going to do. Do you want time at Kruger National Park? Do you want time in Tanzania for a safari lodge experience? Do you want a Rovos rail for a luxury rail experience? Or would you like to add on gorilla trekking in Rwanda? So we have 5 different itineraries that you can really partner the best one for your guests. And then, of course, we have so much that happens on the Zambezi Queen itself. We do we get off the ship, we get off the Zambezi Queen and go into smaller day boats, smaller tender boats, about 8 to 10 people per boat, to go deeper into the different fingers of the Chobe River. You can also do fishing experience. Here you see Gary Murphy, one of our co-owners, so excited about the size of his fish. We're very competitive here as salespeople, so you know, so far he's caught the longest fish out of all of us here at AmaWaterways, so we have to really announce it for him from the rooftops every time we talk about Africa. But we have fun here at Ama, obviously. But this being such an intimate experience, so many different, from the cultural aspects, the historical aspects, the nature experiences, the culinary experiences, truly no one does a safari and wildlife experience better than AmaWaterways. So if you didn't think about river cruising as an option for a safari experience, now you can. And then the last true AmaWaterways exclusive that I'm just so excited to talk about is Colombia. We're truly, again, leading the way in the world of river cruising by being the very first cruise line to venture through the land of 1,000 rhythms, as Colombia is known as, along the magnificent Rio Magdalena. So we are going to discover the heart and soul of Colombia in an all new and unforgettable journey, and it's going to be through a 7-night river cruise between Cartagena and Barranquilla. So this starts next January. We have probably seen this rendering before of the Ama Magdalena and the Ama Melodia. So we'll have 2 ships, the Ama Magdalena in January, and then following in June, the Ama Melodia. They are 30 and 30 staterooms. So these are very intimate ships. And again, as we start cruising there next year, we are the only operators here. So this is going to feel, especially since these ships never actually cross paths on the river, so your guests won't see any other ships, it is going to feel like that private yacht on the river, on the Rio Magdalena in Colombia. Here are some artist renderings that you see of inside the ship. So you see the inspiration of this ship is purpose built. So we are working with local ship builders in Colombia, and we're doing that with everything. This is a destination where it is truly a sampling of all of our other itineraries, because you have towns like Cartagena and Mompox and Barranquilla that are post-colonial towns from the Spaniards. So you have these sort of tours that will feel much like our European tours, right? Where you're getting that traditional history and you have this colonial architecture. And then you have tours like I just said on the Zambezi Queen, where you're getting off into smaller day boats, exploring the beautiful sights of the Magdalena River Valley Basin. You're going to have wildlife experiences. There's several species of bird that only exist in this area of the world. And then, of course, you're going to have incredible culinary experiences like you do on any of our river cruises, and then a lot of cultural experiences as well. One of the towns that we go to, Palenque, is the very first free town in all of the Americas. So music, Land of a Thousand Rhythms, has inspired so much of the people of Colombia, starting with Palenque, where you have former slaves that are now free, finding safe haven in Palenque, but speaking different languages and finding new ways to communicate through music, really, and build new traditions together. And then when you talk about music and getting exclusive experiences and performances in towns like Palenque, in Magangue, we also have an exclusive Carnival experience. And this is a year-round Carnival experience in Barranquilla. Barranquilla is the second largest Carnival celebration, following, of course, Rio. So we will do this every single embarkation or disembarkation for our guests, kind of like our Vilshofen experience or our board wine festival. So you get to experience that and have a true send-off or have a true welcome in just a fun and beautiful way. So for now, the whole 7-night cruise is a true AmaWaterways exclusive. But of course, we know greatest form of flattery, right? Or greatest form of compliments is people copying you. So we know that's going to come. And that is why we are so adamant about setting a good precedent, working with the Colombian government as we have done over the last few years, and making sure that everything that we do is truly purpose-built with the locals, with the Colombian people, because we know that it's going to set that standard that anyone that does follow us in this destination in this way is going to have to meet as well. But a year-round Barranquilla Carnival celebration, we know will continue to set us apart from anyone that can come in this destination after we start next January. And with that, then I would like to invite Joni back. Joni, I'm not sure if we have any questions.
Hey, hi, I'm back. Sorry, I had to unmute myself there. Oh, I just want to go. Every time you guys do this, I just like sit here and want to open up my browser and start looking for available dates. I don't know what it is, but I just
Well, we would love to have you anytime.
Alma is so amazing, folks. If you've not had the opportunity to sail on them, I can't even begin to tell you what a wonderful experience it is. And then to top it off, you have the family atmosphere with the powers that be at AMA that they're just amazing people. So if you're gonna book a river cruise, I'm all over it. But anyways, I should get to the questions while I'm sitting here talking. And I want to go so bad. Okay. All right. We have had some really good questions, and I know that we've been in there. Tyler's been online as well and answering some of these questions independently, which is very helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and just do some general questions that maybe should help some folks, if that's okay with you, Hannah.
Oh, absolutely.
First off, just to kind of reiterate, I know you covered this, but does AmaWaterways have any actual age requirement for the guests? I know you say children, but is there like a minimum age or something like that?
So we recommend 7 and older. We do allow as young as 4, but again, that's, I would say, an exception of it because we really don't see that often throughout the year. If we see a child on board that young, it's because they have a large family group coming with them. And that's one thing that we ask is if we do have a younger child coming, they have to have supervision at all times. As you know, we don't have any children's programs. So if they are coming, then they are being watched and being taken care of by that large family group that is coming. Most of the time when we say children or kids, it is in reference to multi-generational travel where you have, the kids maybe late teens, maybe even early 20s, college students coming with grandma, grandpa, or coming with mom, dad, and grandma, grandpa. So that is more of the trend that we see than, kids at that age of 7 years old. But again, we think river cruising is for everybody. And we've actually found that when we do have a child on board, it's fun not only for the crew, but also for the fellow passengers because they're seeing things now through the eyes of that child. So it's giving them a whole new perspective as well. So as like you said, Jenny, as we're a family operated company, we believe in that power of family and want that on board too.
Yeah, and imagine that for the guests that are on board as well, when they see a child on board, if it were me and I was on board, I'd be, okay, when am I going to bring my granddaughters on here? I'd be like planning the next trip. So it probably builds even more business, right?
Oh yeah, and
All right.
it's so they take it in that, especially well-traveled kids, but any kids really, they take information in so quickly that you're often surprised by everything that they're taking in, and they might even be observing things that I forget to observe, right? So it is always a new perspective, I think, added when we do have a child on board, and the crew just adopts them. I mean, they just become obsessed with them.
Oh,
so
I'm
that's
sure.
fun
I'm sure they
too.
miss
That's
their
fun
own
to
kids,
see
and they're
too.
probably
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so does AmaWaterways have any experiences or excursions that aren't included in the cruise fare? So if is there something in addition that they can pay for? Is that something that you guys do, or?
We do. There's very, very, very few that we have that with. So what I like to say, and an easy thing to remember, is anything that you see on our website or in our printed brochure, we do have brochures for 26 that you can order online, is an included experience. So that being said, when you get your final documents for your guests, there may be some tours added in that say optional tours, special interest tours. Those are going to be the ones that you do have to pay extra for. A great example is going to be Egypt. For Egypt, you have an optional tour to visit Abu Simbel. Why is it optional? Well, it's because it requires a flight from the ship. So, not everyone wants to go. We're not going to purchase flights for everybody if that's the case. So only those that really want to go can add this on and get that, pay for that flight and have that tour added on. Egypt is the exception where you can do things and add them on prior to your arrival because it, again, requires a flight. But on any of the tours, if you have your guest travel booklets finalized, then it'll give you those details right away. But we don't market any of those experiences because we don't ever want to feel like we're doing a marketing switch and bait where, I thought I was purchasing all those wine tasting tours and now it's not. So I think across our entire European fleet, we have maybe 6 or 7 tours that are like that now. So very, very few.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you for clarifying that. So do the the guests that may have lower mobility, are there experiences that they can enjoy? Is that something that Amma would feel comfortable suggesting?
Oh, absolutely. So all of our city tours, when you see, the walking tour of Budapest, are broken down into several different paces. So you have your gentle walkers, you have your active walkers, and your regular pace walking tour. Of course, active walking, that is easy to describe. Regular pace, relatively easy to describe. Gentle takes a few different forms. So gentle could be that you are just walking at a slower pace. You have more stops built in as well. You may be cutting through the city center versus going around to see more sights. But we have a lot of tours where instead of walking, you're actually going to be in a bus, or you're going to be in a train going through the city center. So gentle does take many different forms, but that would be the tour that I recommend for those that do have any concerns about mobility.
Okay, perfect. All right. Let's see. Oh, this is a good question too. Do the guests need to register in advance for the shore excursions prior to actually embarking, or if so, how far in advance?
They can, yes. We do have through our My AmaCruise app, also through just our website. When you log in and do your cruise check-in after you've made final and prior to your arrival in Europe, you'll have the option to sign up for all of the tours that you would like to, including if there are any that you have to pay for. So yes, you'll know then. And the great thing though about AmaWaterways is you don't have to. So while we encourage people to sign up in advance, we know that it's your vacation and things are going to change. You're usually the first day, the cruise manager is going to have an amazing chat with you, and they're going to go over the course of your the rest of your 6 days left on your 7-night cruise, and they're going to go excursion by excursion. And we find that usually once that happens, people change their minds of what they originally signed up for. And so we are always very, very flexible to make sure you get the tours that you want. Again, it's that personal experience and that opportunity to personalize what your river cruise looks like that really sets us apart. So we make it super easy for you if you're signing up in advance or if you're waiting to sign up for the excursions when you arrive.
Yeah, that's helpful too, because you never know with weather and everything, what you're going to be facing. So you want to make sure you have that accommodation if you need it. So
Absolutely.
how
For
can you
me,
tell,
for
can you,
example,
oh, go ahead.
sorry. I was just gonna say for the bike tours, for example, I always say I love to do all of our different tours through the course of my week on board. So I do one tasting tour, I do one gentle walking tour, I do a hiking tour, I do the biking tours, but you know, I don't want to be on a bike tour where I'm going through a city center where there's a bunch of cars and a bunch of pedestrians. I want to make sure I'm kind of more just biking along the river or something where I can't hit anybody and nobody can hit me. So that's my demand for a bike tour. So I'll wait to sign up for my bike tour until I get on the ship so I can talk to the cruise manager and the wellness host, and they'll recommend the best one for me, and then that might change other tours throughout the week that I sign up for. So lots of flexibility.
I did do a bike tour on one with my husband Tom, and it was so much fun. It was like one of the best days. It just stands out in our mind as being one of the best days. So
Oh,
can you
wow.
tell us about your commission policy, maybe?
Absolutely. So our commission starts at 15% for the cruise. Of course, if you're part of one of our preferred partners and national accounts, it could go up from there as well. And then we have all pieces of the cruise and land and tour experience that are commissionable as well. So, people aren't just going for cruise alone. They're going to add on usually a pre and post. Those land packages, those brochured land packages are 12% commissionable. If they're doing that 7-night cruise, but they only want to add, one night Amsterdam pre-cruise or just one night post-cruise, we can do that as well. It's going to be a 10% commission. And then we have airfare. Airfare, whether you're booking a promotional air schedule or booking into our live inventory, is 5% commissionable. And then our cruise protection plans are 10% commissionable as well. So always let's make sure, please, please, please make sure we're recommending cruise protection plans, whether you're booking it with AmaWaterways or booking it directly for the guests with a different vendor.
Great suggestion. Very good. All right, so I'm going to ask this last question, then we're going to go ahead and do the prize, if that works for you, Hannah. How about FAM opportunities for travel agents? I know a lot of people that haven't had a chance yet to sail on or cruise on Ama are anxious to do so. So could you maybe share any information with us on that?
Oh, absolutely. All of our embarkations open up to our travel advisor rates. So as long as we're within 60 days of departure and we have space available, then we will open it up to you so you can go at a reduced fare and experience it. Of course, if you want to experience it while we have a salesperson on board, we call those seminars on the river. And all of those for the rest of the year have been announced and are available in our travel advisor portal. So you can cruise usually with a business development manager on board and have additional trainings. But what's most important is that you do make that investment in your business and in yourself to come, because like you said, you go and you just fall in love with it. And then that passion and knowledge are the greatest sales tools that you will ever have to continue to grow your business with AmaWaterways. The rates are extremely generous. If you've taken our Ama Academy course, then the base fare is $690 per person plus port charges. If your travel companion is not a travel advisor, then they're an additional $200, so $890 plus port charges. And then all of that investment you earn back. So if that's not good enough, you have the option to get that money back if you book 20 people, so 10 staterooms in the 2 years that follow. Pretty amazing.
Jeez. Wow, that's pretty amazing. You guys are extremely generous. All right, so on to generosity. Speaking of generosity, we're going to go ahead and do the prize question. So folks that are on the webinar, I know you're anxiously awaiting this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask a question, and whoever answers, everyone needs to type in, if they know the answer to that question, in the area that you see in the questions panel on your side panel of your software. You'll notice it where, if any of you have been putting questions in, you know exactly where to put it. But under the questions area, you will type the answer. And then I'm going to randomly, I'm going to close my eyes and randomly hit my monitor and pick the correct answer. So it's going to take me a few minutes. So hang in there, guys, if there's a little lull in time, because it takes me a minute to get all the things in front of me here. All right, so you ready? Drum roll. Here we go. I'm so excited for somebody. You want to take me with me, just let me know. Okay, I'm more than available. Okay. So what exclusive experience does AmaWaterways have year-round in Wilshofen, Germany? Go.
So curious.
Okay, there's a lot of great answers coming in here. I can see them, but I have to do my closing my eyes and picking one. So hold on. So many. Okay, it's almost impossible. I'm not sure how to do this. Okay, Tyler, text me a message, chat me an answer if you have any suggestions on how I do this, because there's like, everybody's so smart in here. Oh my God, it's killing me. I want to give everybody the cruise, but I don't think that Rudy's going to be happy if I do that.
No, I don't think so. You can tell him it's my fault.
Tyler, I'm waiting for you to come to me and share, because you can see them as well. So we'll randomly pick one. All right, I'm gonna put my finger down here. Okay, this is hard. All right, I'm just touching. Okay, here we go. First of all, I'm gonna share the answer, then I'm gonna give the name of the person. Okay, so the answer is Oktoberfest celebration, and everybody got this right, so awesome for all of you. And the lucky person who is going to go on this cruise is Karine Brust. Kareen, you have one. I'm sure you're very excited. I'm very excited for you. You're going to have an amazing time when you go on AMA. This has been so fun. And you know, Hannah, you just have a beautiful way of speaking and you do a wonderful presentation. I just have to share that with you. I mean, we do a lot of webinars, but you know, when you get someone that sounds as passionate as you are about it and obviously really knows what she's doing, it's just really a pleasure. So I thank you for that, for sure. I'll let you say
You
your
make me
final goodbyes
emotional.
and no, I'm not trying. It's the truth. You know, you need to be applauded when you do a great job. So you tell Rudy, I think you need a raise. You know, whatever. I'm losing Rudy as a friend quickly here today. All right, folks. I'm going to let her say her goodbyes, and then we'll close it down. For everyone that attended today, thank you so much. Okay, go ahead, Hannah. I'll let you say your goodbyes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for that. And you know, it's so easy to be passionate about this product. So, you know, like I said, take this time now, invest in yourselves, invest in your business, and really come on board. A week flies by, and we have incredible Wi-Fi. So if you need to stay connected, you can do that while experiencing our incredible tours, our crew, our food. There's really so much to experience. And like I said, that passion, that insider knowledge is going to be your very best sales tools that you could ever have. But all that being said, you know, we truly believe in partnerships here at AmaWaterways. Since the starting in Rudy and Christine's homes, they were calling travel advisors. They weren't calling, you know, clients directly to say, hey, take a chance on us because you know us just not in this way yet, but you will. And you can trust us. And with each new destination, Colombia, for example, that we get to add, with each new ship that we get to build, that really is a testament to our partnerships, since the majority of our business is through you all. So thank you so much for always keeping us front and center of your clients' minds when it comes to river cruising. Our story continues, but it doesn't continue without you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. And also, I did want to mention to you all that we did record this, so you will be able to view it again. We will have the recording up on our websites probably within the next, I'd say, 12 hours, maybe less. It just depends on how soon we can get to that. But you will also receive an email tomorrow from us that will have the links to watch it again, should you like to watch it again. So thanks, everybody. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Ama. And we will see you all next time. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.